All right, so good day everyone. So this is the final coverage for our finals, which is on Module 8, DNA and chromosomes. Okay, so let's start with the discussion. So for this one, let's start of course with the fundamentals or yung mga basic po natin dito. Wherein meron po tayong chromosomes, which are the physical form of our genes. So syempre pag without them, yung DNA natin would be a tangled mess. So hindi natin siya malalaman kung ano talaga yung ano mga components nito. And hindi po tayo makakapag-accurately pass down ng mga information to new cells. So humans are diploid. So that means we can make two or carry two copies of every chromosome, one from each parent. So 50-50 po yan siya. And a total of 46 chromosomes. So ibig sabihin, 23 pairs ang manggagaling kay papa at manggagaling naman ang another 23 pairs sa kay mama. So yung mga changes in structure or inheritance generally alters yung mga genetic message and can actually lead to certain conditions ranging from mild to severe disorder. So, dapat kung ano man po ang nakikita natin na information doon, ayun po yung tinatawag natin na normal human complement ng atin pong mga chromosomes. So, let's understand first yung structure ng isang chromosome. So, dapat kailangan po natin ma-understand na ang chromosome, it's not just simply yung tinatawag natin siyang DNA. So, proteins technically make up the entirety of a chromosome. 40% DNA, 60% proteins. So, ang proteins po around 50% of this is referred to as or is a component of histone, and non-histone proteins naman po encompasses of the entire 10% or the extra 10%. And of course, meron po tayong small amounts of RNA, which are nascent transcripts. And we also have the chromatin, which is the term used for chromatin material or chromosome materials when the cell is not dividing and kapag loose, diffuse, and they are referred to as the active form. Okay? So, meron po tayong different levels of DNA packaging or yung tinatawag nating hierarchy. So, ang packaging happens in different stages. Ang first one po natin is yung DNA double helix. And then, yung level 2 natin is the nucleosomes, followed by the level 3 of the 30 nanometer chromatin fiber. And then the level 4, the loop domains, and loop 5, or level 5 rather, is the condensed chromosome or referred to as the uh, metaphase. So, ang nangyayari po dito is that yung nucleosome is yung fundamental unit po natin. So, kapag once po na nag-prepare na yung cells na mag-divide, of course, syempre yung mga structure folds repeatedly until it becomes yung tinatawag natin na X-shaped body that we generally recognize, yung X structure ng chromosome po natin. So, yung extreme condensation is very, very necessary so that yung chromosomes can be moved and separate without breaking or tangling when cells is resting, and then it unwinds back to the 10 nanometer or 30 nanometer fiber so that genes can be read. So, ayun lang po actually yung pinaka-basic talaga na levels of DNA packaging or hierarchy. So, always remember po natin, medyo nag-advance ako ng konti, no? Ayun po, describing a condensed metaphase and chromosome. Yun, yun. So, ang nangyayari po dito is that kapag meron po tayong condensed metaphase chromosome, meron po tinatawag tayo ng mga landmarks. So, yung centromere, ayun tinatawag natin na waist. And then, kapag wala po itong centromere na po ito, ibig sabihin, yung atin pong mga chromosome cannot move properly and get lost during cell division. So, napaka-importante po ng atin pong centromeres. So, yung telomeres naman po, these are the protective caps. Like yung parang mga plastic ends po ba ng mga shoelaces. So, um, as we grow older, yung mga telomeres na to, yung parang mga paa, they tend to actually get shorter. And when that happens, yung cell stops dividing or eventually die. So next is we have the secondary constrictions. These are where the cell builds the ribosomes and the factories for making protein. Next is we have yung classification of centromere position. So this is actually based on the relative lengths of the P and Q arms. So we have, of course, the metacentric, the sub-metacentric, the acrocentric, and the telocentric. Okay? So pag sabi po tayo ng um, metacentric, yung centromeres po natin is located near the center. And then, X-shape po talaga siya. And sub-metacentric naman, medyo off-center siya. Hindi po siya sa super center. Medyo off lang. Medyo ng konting a few distance higher or a little bit lower. So, lopsided X. So, it's still an X form. Pero ang isa is a little bit shorter one side and the other one is a little bit longer. So, ang acrocentric naman po, centromeres are very near sa end. So, parang almost V-shaped na siya or rod-like na siya. And ang telocentric po naman is wala po siyang P-arm. So, ibig sabihin, the centromere is exactly at the tip. So, ibig sabihin, no P-arm siya. So, not found in humans. So, only found in lower forms of mammals such as mice. So, meron tayong tinatawag na banding patterns and nomenclature. So, banding is actually the staining that creates unique patterns of light and dark bands which act as barcode. So, the G banding, ang tawag po doon, ang most common is referred to as the GEMSA stain. And the R banding, reverse pattern of G bands, C banding, centromeric, and Q banding, which is fluorescent stain. We also have the international system nomenclature, or what we refer to as the ISCN, which is a standardized way to describe locations. So, ang pag-describe natin po ng location, it is the number, ang chromosome number natin. Like, for example, if nakikita po siya sa chromosome 1, right? Sa chromosome 21. So, ang ating pong pangalan doon sa ISCN is 21Q because that is found in the long arm. The Q is the long arm. And then sa region 2, which is sa another 2, and then sa band number 2 siya, sa 2 naman, and then sa subband 0.3. So, ayun po ang pag-ano natin, pag-name natin sa nomenclature ng ating pong description of the location. So, if follow po siya natin in sequence such as yung chromosome number, arm, region, band, and of course, the subband. So, ang purpose po nito is that para precisely po natin malaman kung ano po talaga yung may mga genes or yung tinutukoy natin na may mga genes na may issues. So, ang chromosome detection naman po, it's actually to visualize, count, and analyze structure or inheritance of chromosomes. So, in order for us to really study, we need, of course, we need dividing cells because because only then na magkakaroon ng any visibility. So, pwede po ang tawag doon, ang blood is the most basic na example for that because pwede sila ma-trigger to divide. So, the key to do that is to have an arrest of the blood during metaphase, which is the golden moment for analysis. Okay, dahil po if you arrest too early, ang mangyayari po is hindi po siya natin makikita yung golden moment na para makakita tayo ng chromosome detection talaga. So, okay, so ang pwede natin makuha doon is that we have a sample collection obtained living cell capable of dividing, cell culture, stimulate division in lab, and then there's synchronization and arrest, top cells in metaphase, and swelling, hypotonic solution, fixation, staining, banding, and microscopy and analysis. So, ang common specimen talaga is, of course, yung mga lymphocytes, which is the most common type. Pwede din tayo sa skin fibroblast, bone marrow, amniotic fluid, and products of conception or miscarriage. So, sa detection naman po, ang tawag po dito is karyotyping. Pero very traditional method lang po ito. So, technically, it's referred to as the foundational test. So, it is like taking a group photo and then sorting everyone by height and features. So, it is excellent po siya. Okay, for a while. It's quite excellent. Sana ako nun. Yung karyotyping po is a really good indicator. It's an excellent indicator or question that answers, is the number right? So, bakit tinatanong is the number right? Because kapag once po na hindi tama ang number, ibig sabihin meron na po tayong meron na pong mali or meron na pong something wrong. And then another thing is that, is this structure correct? Is it normal still? So kapag sa karyotyping at meron po tayong mga specific type of characteristics and the number is not correct, ibig sabihin there is something wrong. Okay? So however, syempre dahil nga medyo traditional na siya, it still has a lot of limitations. So ang limitation po nito is that if smaller than 5 million base pair, dahil nga ayun lang ang madidetect niya, 5 to 10 million base pair, so dapat medyo limited lang yung ma-read niya. So dapat syempre we need more a little bit advanced na mga tools or specifically molecular diagnostics to actually further understand yung mga things na hindi po na ma-detect using karyotyping. So take for example sa normal, we have 46 chromosomes with X and X or 46 S and Y, indicating that there is a normal female and a normal male. However, in Down syndrome, there is 47 because meron tayong trisomy sa chromosome 21. And sa Turner syndrome, it is 45 because meron po tayong deletion naman sa isang chromosome naman siya. Okay? So, detection of banding techniques include the GRCQ. So, ang pinaka-standard po natin dito is yung G banding. Pero kapag meron po tayong suspected na meron po siyang problem sa tip ng chromosome, R banding po ang gagamitin natin. So, niche naman po kasi ang C banding because ito naman ang mga junk DNA ang pinapakita. Followed naman po ng Q banding po kapag nagagamit po tayo ng Y chromosome materials. So, ang detection naman po natin, specifically fluorescent in situ hybridization. Now, this one is something that you would learn more about in molecular biology. Pero, ang kagandahan po kasi, ang FISH is one of the most beautiful molecular diagnostic techniques because it's glow in the dark. Okay? Although DNA or mitochondrial DNA or some sorts of DNA practices can also have a glow in the dark effect, but FISH is somehow one of the most beautiful kasi makikita mo talaga yung fluorescence niya, especially multiple colors pa yung ginagamit. So, magkakaroon lang po siya ng different colorization depending on the type of your target substance. Okay? So, may contrasting po yan siya. So, it shines a flashlight on one specific spot that is problematic or sometimes not problematic, depending nga po sa kung anong gusto mo i-detect. And it bridges yung gap or it closes the gap between karyotyping and DNA sequencing. So it's very sensitive than karyotyping and can find a lot of missing pieces called microdeletions. It is widely used in cancer genetics and prenatal screening. However, ayun lang, you have to really know kasi very specific siya kung ano ang hinahanap mo. Ayun po ang pinakaano lang sa fluorescent hybridization. You need to know because you need to create a complementary sequence for this one kasi para magkaroon ka ng reaction or probing na tinatawag natin. If not, then therefore, hindi mo talaga siya makita. Okay? Or hindi siya mag-glow in the dark at that. So, another one is molecular methods, which is the CMA and SNP. So, ang tawag po natin dito, these are referred to as your microarrays. So, they are revolutionaries ng atin pong cytogenetics and atin pong detection studies. So, high resolution po sila na scanner of the entire genome and they find the cause in about 15 to 20% of patients where karyotyping was originally normal. So, maganda po talaga ito. And yung SNP naman po, na microarrays naman, on the other hand, magandang tool po talaga sila because aside from finding the extra or the missing DNA, they're able to actually also also trace yung inheritance patterns, which is exactly what we need para makadiagnose po tayo ng mga UDPs. Okay? So, these tests are the standard for care today dahil nga po, if hindi po natin identify yung mga UDPs or uniparental disomy, ang problema po natin is hindi po natin siya pwedeng or hindi magkakaroon po tayo ng difficulty identifying the source. Next, we have your next generation sequence. So this one, NGS, this is the recent. No, ang pinakabago po siya. This is what we refer to as sequencing of the future. So it reads the actual letters of the genetic code and it detects every type of chromosomal abnormality. So, syempre, pati po yung mga point mutations, kayang-kaya niya. Okay? So, we have the whole genome sequencing and we also have the whole exome sequencing and the carrier mapping. So, kaso nga lang, syempre, dahil nga, ito pinakabago sa lahat, no, yung next generation sequencing, syempre, ito din po yung pinakamahal sa lahat. Okay? So, expensive siya, tapos nagge-generate siya ng massive amounts of data, but very reliable siya. Okay? So, titingnan po yan natin ang what will become of the next generation sequencing. But as of the year 2026, ito po ang isa sa pinaka-bago. So we have now now have yung numerical abnormalities. So we have different types of numerical abnormalities. We have, of course, the euploidy, which is normal chromosome natin. So 46 chromosome, euploidy, that's normal. So yung aneuploidy naman, aneuploidy means odd number. Okay, you have an extra or a missing or one specific chromosome. Either, syempre nga dahil ang euploidy or ang normal is 46, so either 47 ka, 45, ganon. Polyploidy naman is extra, extra set na naman. So, instead of just simply having 46, so kanya pwede siyang 69 or 92 dahil may extra set ka because one set is already 23. So, mag-addition ka. And mosaicism is the presence of two or more cell lines with different genetic makeup in one person. So, makikita po natin ang mosaicism, interestingly, sa mga tao na may mga occurrence ng errors during mitosis after fertilization. Okay? So, mosaicism is that there is a carrying of something wrong, however, milder ang kanyang symptoms. So, numerical abnormalities, we move to the cause of non-disjunction. So, ang non-disjunction po is actually defined as yung root cause of almost all number of abnormalities. So, sabihin na lang po natin na ito po yung non-disjunction, big sabihin, it actually failed to pull apart kasi ayun nga, non-disjunction. So, hindi po siya nag-disjunct or wala po siya na-separate. So, it happens mostly, syempre, in eggs because eggs are formed before birth and nagsisit siya waiting for some time. So, kapag nag-age yung isang babae, yung machinery or yung entire complex na nag-hold ng chromosome together, nag-weaken siya. And when that happens, hindi po nag-separate yung mga, anong tawag doon? Yung chromosomes, quite cleanly, na clean slate siya. So, that's the reason why na in quite a number of studies, although hindi naman always, no, mas madami po or mas malaki yung chances na meron pong mga certain issues kapag medyo may edad na yung nanay. Pero, syempre, nakadepende din yon sa kung anong mga kondisyon ng nanay during pregnancy and whatever is the environment. Pero, syempre, over time, big factor din siya. Okay? Both actually sa bata and sa nanay. So, this is why ang pinaka-common na conditions kapag medyo old talaga yung mga parents na is similar to that sa mga trisomy or monosomy conditions. Okay? Maternal age ang isang big factor. So next is we have numerical abnormalities or autosomal trisomies. So, remember that only trisomy 13, 18, and 21 are viable in live births. Ibig sabihin, pwede pong mabuhay yung atin pong mga patients kapag these are the type of trisomies that they have. So, trisomy 21, also referred to as the Down syndrome, at makikita po siya sa, of course, makikita po siya sa chromosome 21. And then, ang trisomy 18 naman po, makikita naman po siya sa chromosome 18 or referred to as Edwards syndrome. And ang trisomy 13 sa Patau syndrome, which is makikita naman siya sa chromosome number 13. So, why only this? Because 13, 18, and 21 carry the fewest genes. So imbalances are um, quite normal. However, um, on the types of trisomy, ang trisomy 18 and 18 are much more severe, and then most of the patients that have this don't really get to see maturity. Okay? So very short ang survival time po nila, unlike with trisomy 21. So numerical abnormalities on sex chromosome aneuploidies. So these are much better tolerated due to X inactivation and low gene count on the Y chromosome. So let's start first with Turner syndrome or the monosomy X. So ang features po nito short stature, web neck, broad chest. So ang karyotype nito is X, which is female. Ang Klinefelters naman, ang lalaki naman po siya talaga, however, there is an extra Y chromosome. The XXX syndrome, it's a female, so may extra talaga na X chromosome din. So XYY, so this person is a male, however, may extra Y chromosome siya. So atypical chromosome structure, so these are changes in chromosome shape, arrangement, or gene gene content. So, ang number remains 46. However, meron po siyang specific type of characteristics. Kasi para siyang mag edit ng sentence. Anong ibig sabihin ko kapag nag edit siya ng sentence, no? If, for example, if you cut certain words and paste them back in a different order but keep all words, ganun po siya yung tinatawag nating atypical chromosome structure. Ibig sabihin, lahat po ng atin pong information is still there. However, naka-disarrange po siya. Parang nag-copy-paste ka pero magkaiba na yung mga set of words. Like for example, the wolf is black, the black is wolf. Parang ganun siya. Okay? So, ang classification nito, we have the balanced rearrangement. Ibig sabihin, there's no loss or gain. It still remains the same. However, wrong places and order. And unbalanced rearrangement, meron naman po siyang loss or gain. So, of course, ang atin pong nomenclature dyan is based on deletion, duplication, inversion, and we also have translocation, R for ring, and I for isochrome. So, ang deletions are DEL. This is a loss of chromosome or segment, partial monosomy siya. So, it can actually cause syndromes like the George and Williams, and then it duplication technically adds genes. So, adding a gene is often less damaging than removing it. So, ang nakikita po natin ayon sa condition ng Charcot-Marie tooth disease, which is a common inherited neuropathy. And both of these are actually unbalanced and easy to detect, okay, with microarrays. So, another duplication would be the cat eye syndrome. So, next is we have the inversion. So, ang inversions, medyo tricky ang inversions kasi. So, like for example, ang isang tao is meron naman lahat ng DNA. Kaso nga lang, backwards naman siya. So, when we say backwards naman siya, nag-flip po siya. Ibig sabihin, the same ang structures, correct ang sequence. Kaso nga lang, it's starting from the back papunta sa front instead from the front to the back. Okay? So there are different types. We have the paracentric, which a flip occurs within one arm, and then kapag pericentric naman, it involves the flipping of both arms. So clinical consequence, the carrier is actually normal. However, the problem arises during meiosis. Chromosome form a loop to pair correctly, and when crossing over inside the loop produces unbalanced gametes. So, ang result, miscarriage or child with abnormality. So, for example, is sa inversion 9, which is a very common variant, pero usually harmless naman po siya. So, next is we have the translocation. So, ang ano naman dito is that ito po ang kino-consider natin the most important structural abnormality. Bakit po? Ito po ang pinaka-important. Because meron po tayong two types. We have the reciprocal and then the Robertsonian translocation. Bakit? Ang reciprocal po kasi, meron po siyang swapping. Okay? So, this is the most common in the general population. And sa Robertsonian naman po, meron naman siyang fusion. So, this is the only time na pag meron kang 45 chromosomes is normal and healthy, and then it can be seen in familial Down syndrome, which is inherited siya. So, unlike yung usual Down syndrome, it changes over time and the recurrent is actually quite higher. Okay? So, ito po ang translocation. Ito po ang pinaka-common talaga or technically very clinically important compared sa iba. Because since sa iba, medyo na mild, pero ito, medyo medyo high risk po talaga. Next is we have the ring or the chromosomes, ring chromosomes and chromosomes. So, yung ring chromosomes po, they're actually somehow weird ang mechanism po nila because they tangle and break off easily every time na nag-divide ang cell. So, therefore, dalawang ibig sabihin lang yon. Sometimes variable or severe ang mga symptoms. On the other hand, kapag isochrome naman po siya, mirror images lang po siya. So, instead of having a short and long arm, you have two long arms or two short arms. So, common variants seen in about 50% of Turner's patient naman siya. Okay, so parang it's looking at a mirror talaga kapag isochrome siya because as it is stated, isochrome nga iso. So, balance po siya. So, kaso nga lang, even though it's balanced, ayun nga lang. So, syempre, meron siyang a certain medical implication dahil hindi naman yun yung correct na structure. So, next is we have the uniparental disomy. Ang uniparental disomy po, it's the inheritance of both homologs of a chromosome pair or region from only one parent. So, ayun ha, ibig sabihin kahit dalawa yung parent mo, kahit biological child kanila, pero yung atin pong chromosome is nakukuha natin only from one parent. Okay? So, ibig sabihin, the other parent contributes zero genetic material. So, usually, ang normal setup talaga, syempre, one paternal and one maternal or referred to as the biparental inheritance. Ang sa uniparental, either kay mama lang or either kay papa lang. So, there is first identified in the 1980s, no? And then, meron tayong types, which is the isodisomy, which is both copies are identified, however, identical or derived from one single chromosome from a parent. So, ang heterodisomy naman, both copies are different, however, both chromosomes from the parents pair. So, ayun ang heterodisomy. So, ang chromosome niya is different, kaso nga lang, both yung chromosomes is from one parent. And sa isodisomy naman, both copies naman are identical pero from one single parent din siya. Okay? So, UDP, mechanisms and formation, meron po tayong trisomy rescue. So, ang trisomy rescue is the most common cause. It's a nature trying to fix a mistake. However, you start with 3 copies kagad, which is quite bad. So, the body deletes one, and if it deletes the wrong one, you survive. But you have UDP na tinatawag. So, this explains why UDP is often found in conditions where trisomy is also common like chromosome 15 and 17. So, ibig sabihin sa UDP po is that it's a part of the correction process to make it normal. However, instead na sana ma-delete yung extra ni mama mo or extra ni papa mo is na-delete yung from the other parent. So, kaya nagiging UDP po siya. Okay? So UDP and genomic imprinting, what is the connection or the key connection? So the core concept that you must remember always is that most genes work no matter where they come from. Okay? So, pero yung imprinted genes are quite different dahil po meron po siyang tinatawag na parent of origin. So, ano po yun siya? So, tingnan na lang po natin na para siyang ano bang pwede kong example? Alam. Okay. So, kapag imprinting po siya, kunwari po, meron ka pong blender or electric fan. Ayun ha. Meron kang blender at electric fan. And then, meron kang saksakan. So, yung saksakan na yon is that meron siyang connection or connector. So, in order for the electric fan or the blender to actually work on a normal basis, dapat may positive at saka may negative siya. Okay? Parang ganun. Positive tsaka negative. So, isa kay mama tsaka isa kay papa. However, in this case, is that hindi siya mag-work if kay mama at kay papa, kundi mag-work lang siya in the presence of from which parent it came from or from which imprint or parent of origin it came from. So if both of the genomic imprinting came from the dad, pwede lang siya magkaroon ng manifestation of any actions or reaction kapag, kapag meron siyang charge that only came from that specific parent. So kung si papa mo is the positive charge at saka si nanay mo naman ang negative charge, so mag-work lang siya sa positive charge but it will never work with the negative charge. So ayun lang po yan. So if you have 2 copies from mom or the dad, the gene must come from the dad to be turned on. And if you have the switch, but it's permanently off. So that causes a disorder. Okay? So 2 copies from mom and the gene must come from the dad to be turned on. Kasi kapag hindi, then therefore, wala talaga. So kapag maternally imprinted ka, kapag maternally imprinted ka, kapag gene from mom is actually off, so dapat it needs dad's copy to work. Kapag paternally imprinted naman, like I said, kapag positive, negative siya, no? So, ang presence niya po talaga is given by the other parent. So, lahat ng paternally imprints, kapag si dad mo ang merong gene, so off yun. So, syempre, it needs your mother's copy to actually work. So, if the major problem of UDP is that if you have maternal, both copies from mom, all genes that need dad are missing. So, ibig sabihin, there is no gene production, and of course, this can lead to disease. And if you have a paternal, UPD, both copies from dad, all genes that need mom are missing. No gene production as well, and disease. So most chromosomes have no imprinted genes. However, in the case of UPD, meron siyang imprint. So on a normal setup na wala siyang imprinted genes, so ang UPD is actually harmless. So ang UPD, clinical conditions or sa chromosome 15 ang pinaka-common, no? This is the classical example and best understood and most common. So the chromosome region is the 15q11, q13 or q11 arm and 2 until q13 arm. So Prader-Willi syndrome, which is maternal UPD 15 po yan, which is makakuha po siya both from mom. So therefore, may deletion po siya ng paternal copy. So genes in this region are paternally expressed and mom's copies are switched off. So if both are from mom, no active genes, which leads to disease. And then, of course, we also have the Angelman syndrome. So deletion naman po ito ng maternal copy. So because both copies are from the father. Okay? So genes here are maternally expressed and dad's copies are switched off. So ang features there are severely intellectual disability, absent speech, ataxia, and happy demeanor or laughter and seizures. So ang 2 dad copies or galing sa papa talaga, angel man, and ang galing naman sa mama is brother Y. So, ang UPD, kapag sa chromosome 7 naman po siya, pwede natin makakita doon ng Russell Silver, wherein meron po siyang maternal UPD on the chromosome 7. For chromosome 11, Beckett-Weidenmann syndrome, paternal UPD on the 11PQ arm, segment 15. And then chromosome 6 naman, transient neonatal diabetes mellitus from paternal, and chromosome 14 or the Temple syndrome, which is from maternal. Pero kapag paternal in nature siya, ang tawag doon is Kagami-Ogata. So, ang detection methods ng UPD, unfortunately, it cannot be detected by karyotyping, standard FISH, or standard array CGH. Because yung numbers niya are really perfect. Kaso nga lang, ayun lang, hindi po na-detect if whether maternal or paternal po siya. Kasi ang karyotyping tsaka FISH naman po yung madidetect lang din naman nila if kung meron po siyang imbalance or not the correct number of chromosomes. But since in UPD, correct ang number of chromosomes, the major problem only is kung saan mo siya nakuha, if strictly from mom or strictly from dad. So it is, however, detected by SNP microarray, which is the gold standard. And then we also have the DNA methylation analysis, the microsatellite marker analysis as well. So ang diagnostic clue is that normal karyotype plus the features of known imprinting disorder. Therefore, it can be the test for UTP. So for genetic counseling, bakit kailangan na kailangan po ito? Because reassuring or mayroon siyang reassurance. So unlike structural translocations, ang UPD rarely runs in families. So it happens by chance lang talaga if an embryo tries to fix a certain mistake. So once diagnosed, parents can be told the risk of happening of it again is extremely low. However, this is very different from a deletion syndrome, which might have different risks depending on the cause. So, kailangan po talaga ng genetic counseling, especially sa parents po who might have certain conditions such as if meron silang family member, yung isa sa mga parents ng Robertsonian translocation or an inversion if they are also carriers of this. So medyo high ang UPD pero on a normal it's very low ang risk or very low ang chances of actually having it. And if ever it happens, the repetition is quite um, near to none. Okay? So, usually a one time accident and future pregnancies are generally safe. So, to summarize that, uh, chromosomes is actually DNA and proteins, more likely proteins. They are highly organized packaging from helix to condensed chromosome and defined by centromere position, such as meta, submeta, acrocentric. Telomeres protects the ends and centromeres direct division. Binding patterns provide unique identification code. And then for the detection, karyotyping is low resolution but big picture. Fish is targeted, however, specific spots lang siya. So if you do not know what you're trying to look for, you cannot have any testing for fish. CMA is high resolution, detects gains and losses. SNP arrays detect gains and losses plus UPD. And new generation sequencing is actually the most expensive because it's the most recent. However, ayun lang, it can be replaced in due time since maraming advancement na. However, it is the ultimate detail. It can give you that sequence level, and we choose the tool based on the question asked kung ano ang mas kailangan natin. So like for example, if you just really want to detect if there is an extra chromosome or a deleted chromosome, you're good with karyotyping. And if you want to detect a certain or a specific type na characteristic, then you can go for fish, especially if it's if it's a type of cancer. Okay, and then the others are more specific or dwell into specific type of certain characteristics of the chromosomes. So as a summary, ang abnormalities, numerical is caused by non-disjunction or referred to as trisomy or monosomy. So it's very common in the chromosome 13, 18, and 21. In terms of sex naman po siya, X and Y variation is common and milder. For structural, caused by breakage, which ends up with balance or unbalance, such as translocation, inversion, deletions, duplication. And ang balance naman po, these are carrier risk. However, ang unbalance naman po, these are actually diseases. So for UPD, both copies from one parent. Ayun ha, both copies are from one parent because this is an attempt to actually correct during sa embryo pa lang siya. However, instead of actually deleting what is the true extra, na-delete po siya yung isang magbabalance sana. So it's harmless unless imprinted genes are involved, and these are classic conditions of PWS, AS, Russell, Silver, and Beckwith, Weinsman. Okay, so this actually ends our final coverage for your summer class. So good luck and God bless for your finals examinations and do good. Thank you very much, everyone.